Hey, Don here. Okay, I want to show you that weird little thing. You see, we're at, oh, look. It's not doing it on my computer. It's only doing it on the laptop. That's weird. See, my laptop, it starts at a negative 1 hour, the countdown on, my live stream. And then it'll go for an hour, and then it'll finally get to plus numbers. But this one is perfect. I wonder if there is some weird setting you can do that accidentally got done, maybe by a keyboard shortcut I was hitting or something. I don't like it, and that's the one I've been using to monitor my stream. But this one's normal. I hadn't been looking at it. It says 2 watching. Hello, if there's somebody there. Oh, it's me. I'm on. That shouldn't count. That says 0 watching on my laptop. Why is it different? Yeah, it's me though. But on my desktop, the one I'm streaming from, so the 2 watching is me. So it's counting me and my laptop. I can figure that out. Okay, now it says 1. Oh, now it says 2 over on the laptop. I don't know. Maybe there's actually people clicking on it, and they're like, what's this goofball doing? I don't know what I'm doing. I'm trying to get started on my live stream. Okay, I'm going to be booting to Fedora 27 on my mom's machine that I'm going to hopefully upgrade to Fedora 27 with my desktop if it can run it. Okay, it's a dual-core AMD with 2 gig of RAM and I think a 512 megabyte dedicated video card. So, yeah, I was just going to show that right quick, and of course this is not right quick, but, so, hey, yeah, this is how I usually start, and I'm ready to go. So I've already said what I was going to do. Let's just get over here and get to the, I can't, that's the best I can do at showing the, the machine booting up. Let's see, I'll leave it there. I'm going to make sure, I'm going to turn on my audio over there on the laptop to make sure that I'm all working and everything. I can't. Okay, so, now I got to switch on my KVM switch and get to, so that machine will work so I can control it. Alright, now, so I can't monitor that, but I can control the machine. Now, I could have went ahead and plugged in that stick, but I didn't do it yet. So I got Fedora 27 with my desktop on USB. Now let me get it plugged in. Sorry. Well, I'm doofus today. I've been plugging those things in from sitting in my chair for several days, and today I can't do it. Alright, finally got it ready. Now let me boot them up. should be coming up here in a minute. Now, hopefully, I've got it all set up to where it will still automatically recognize the USB stick. Yep, it sure did. And when it stops there, it'll I think it'll count down for about 20 seconds, and then it'll automatically run that test the media. But you don't need to do that if you know your media is okay. And I do, so at least I think it is. I tested it with the checksums. Of course, you can still have a messed up write to your USB, but what I do is I just use it. I hardly ever have a problem, with it. If it doesn't boot or something goes wrong, then I'll run that test. And once in a while, you get I used to have trouble sometimes with the bad CD burn. USBs usually it's fine unless you got a bad ISO or something. So I'm checking my stream still. Now I can see that the screen is gray. That's usually already into, let's see, wouldn't it be funny if there's something wrong with it? It's usually already into the command line booting up. This is the first one I've actually, I put it in the back, one of the back slots. There it goes. Uh-oh, I think we got a problem. There we go. Okay. Oh. Let's see. Error, logical block. Let's see if it's going to recovering or I think it's going to be all right. Sometimes you'll get a bunch of I/O errors, especially with if you have a messed up hard drive or anything, which I don't. But that says SR1, which should be what it's seeing this as. Oh, it's already booted up. I don't know. Usually it'll go on by those things and recover. They got this little, I couldn't read them. They do that for some reason. They change size when it's getting ready to boot up. But seeing how I can't see my preview on my machine, I get a little worried about things working right because when I'm confused and miscombobulated like I am today this morning here, I can really mess up. So I'm keep on checking. There's one good thing about having my laptop running over there. I can just look at it from there. The audio was too darn loud on it. It drives me crazy when it comes up. It keeps doing that. Okay, now, there it is. Now what I'm doing here, my whole goal here is I wanted to boot it to a live USB stick here. I put it on the USB stick. I want to see how well it runs. If it looks like I will want to go ahead and install. My favorite operating system of all is Fedora. With the Mate desktop, where I started with Genome 2 back in Fedora 5, and just what I like, And I've got a dual-core Intel laptop with 3 gig of RAM. It couldn't run it well enough. I ended up putting Debian 8 on it, and I've tried it on a couple others. And I've got a desktop that's a AMD dual core, but it's not as fast, not as powerful of a processor as this AMD dual core here. And it had 2 gig of RAM too, I believe. Yeah, it did. And that's what it comes with, LibreOffice, and it doesn't, it doesn't come with much. I don't like that Pro Media Player one bit. I always just, as a matter of fact, it always wants to take over, as the default media player too. So I just go ahead and install it once I get VLC on there and maybe a couple of others. And so the best test for me is to just get on Firefox and see how it does with that, because it's a pretty heavy user. And then go to YouTube, which is about the heaviest heaviest resource usage page that I use a lot. And if it can handle that fine, then it should do everything that she needs to do. My mom, this is from my mom, and she doesn't watch videos really on on YouTube or anything, but she does get on shopping sites, and some of them have a lot of Java and Flash on them, which I'm not even going to install Flash. And if she gets to a site and she says this site won't work at all, then maybe I will have to, but I think she'll be fine, because I haven't had Flash on my Fedora 23 for a couple of years, and I don't miss it at all. Used to for a while there, back when I first installed it a 3 years ago. There would be video pages that I'd want to watch a video on, and they wouldn't work. And that's just the Firefox home page there. Go to YouTube. Let's see. I'll just go check my stream on here and see, because that's a pretty heavy user there. See if I can find it. Oh, I know how I can find it. They may not show it. Sometimes I'll actually see it. It'll say live stream suggested for you or something. But if I just go to my channel, then I'll see it right there. So we'll see how well it does. And then maybe I'll just, click around on some other stuff. Okay, see, it's taken a little bit, but it did come in. Oh, it doesn't recognize any of the video formats. I stream in FLV, which is Flash. It's kind of crazy. I don't like Flash as a whole, but it actually is the best streaming format that I've found for using OBS Studio. It's the less resource hungry and streams the best. I used to use MP4, and it'll bring slow my machine down so much that it can't process it all, and it'll give you choppy video, choppy streams and everything. So I really can't use it. It's kind of weird, because used to it was actually the smoothest and best one to use back when, several years ago when it was newer. But somehow it got to be using more resources. So let's see. What's funny though is, like I just said, I don't have Flash on my machine, and I can watch my live stream. I could go there right now. But this is talking about HTML5 video. This browser should work with HTML5 video. Let's see if we can see the 57. That's probably it. It's too old. Yeah, because we're up to like 59. I mean, it'd be updated really quick if I, matter of fact, I saw. Let's see. How can I get to, I don't think it's going to have, I won't have anything about Fedora in here. Everything's not the way I like it, so, Fedora is. Sorry. Yeah, it's H.264 is what I was trying it in. VP8 it's okay, but it doesn't stream as good as MP4s. H.264s will make an MP4. I mean, I think you might be able to make other things too, but MSE and H.264. Haven't seen that one. MSE and WebM VP9. VP9 is the newer, WebM. MSE, that's got to be something to do about Microsoft. And let's see, look at media source extensions. Okay, well, anyway, that's. I think if I upgraded Firefox, it'd probably go ahead and play it. But let's just see if it'll just play any video. It doesn't really. Well, I don't want to put other people's videos in mine. That's right. Let's try a different one of my videos. That's all I think I have to do. I don't want to put other people's in there and then get my video blocked from copyrights. You never know anymore. Everything is so picky anymore on YouTube. So go back here to my channel. This is live. It's not going to save that, but this way I can. Oh, there is. Yeah, there's all the Fedora links. I was thinking about going to see. There's an article I just found the other day, and it showed you a command to update Firefox real quick. That's what I was. And adding the Firefox repo so that you could update it. That's what I had in the back of my head when I got all turned around there. I don't know if it was that new of an article though, is the thing. So. Yeah, let's just look at another one of my own videos. Probably take forever to find it. I'm just trying to give this thing a bit of a workout. Okay, let's look at one that's already not being streamed right now. See if it'll play. Yeah, it plays perfectly. So the one from yesterday, it plays. Now I don't have any sound turned on, which I guess is a good thing right now because it would be bugging me. I don't have the cable plugged in, but it's working better than I expected. I think that video card, even though it's only 512 megabyte, you know, today's standards, that's not much, but it's plenty because I have only 256 shared memory on this quad core that I'm streaming from, and it works fine for an hour or two, and then you got to reboot the machine to get completely clear out the video memory. I don't know why. This is the only machine I've ever had that problem with. I had, let's see, what did I have? Excuse me. I had, I think it's a 512 megabyte card on my old 1.8 gigahertz dual core that used to be my main machine. Sorry, attack of the allergies again. Started to say you might be able to hear that, but no, because that's not playing on my machine. That's just playing on the. So we're looking at the thing for the camera. I can go forward and skip ahead. It does fairly well. So if that would run good, then because I'm debating about whether I want to go ahead and use Fedora 27 with Mate, which what I like to put on this machine, and then and just as it is, or do I need to upgrade the hardware, or do I want to go just use Debian 9, which is a lot lighter in resources, and leave it as it is. We really don't want to, spend money on it because if we don't need to, because she doesn't need something. I was going to say, oh, so you can see that chat is actually me. I had to take off real quick, so I said I'll be right back, and then okay, I'm back. So they got that thing where now you can see the chat replay. So I kept saying nothing available, but that's because nobody had ever said anything, and I said something on there, so now it worked. So I think this is a video right before that one from yesterday when I was going through the ins and outs of downloading Fedora, different options, and I got into, there's a little USB setup that I like to use for making multi-boot called Easy to Boot, and I got into that, and actually I spent a long time on that. I wasn't paying any attention to that video. I was just thumbing through, might have been that video. Go back to my channel again. I think it might be okay. Let's see if we can, let's go to most visited. Yeah, this is not synced, of course, because I didn't log in or anything. Or docs. These come with, these shortcuts here are pretty good to have. They put them, it automatically, when you're using a Fedora distro like this, it'll be already put in your bookmarks toolbar. And I don't like to have it. I always, take it out. But I know where it is, and I can find it in the, you just go to the bookmarks. What I do is I leave it like that, and I hit Control O on my desktop, look at all my bookmarks, and I have a lot of them on my installed machines. And then if I want to see those, I'll just click on bookmarks toolbar. Of course, you can't see what I'm doing. I keep forgetting I'm not on remote desktop or anything, or doing a desktop video. But anyway, do it that way. But yeah, that command is oh, there it is, critical Firefox vulnerability. So that's exactly the one I was thinking about doing. Let's see if we can do that in here. So I'll just open up a terminal. I'll just try it with the sudo command because this is a live distro. It might work. Okay, we trust you have received the usual lecture from local system administrator. It usually boils down to it's doing it. Respect the privacy of others. Think before you type. And with great power comes great responsibility. They always put that in there when you use a lot of time with sudo. I don't know about it doesn't happen when I put su in there. I use su. It's doing it though. It's updating Firefox to the testing updates testing, which is the newest version with the security fixes. There's a bug that was a security vulnerability. That's why they put it out. And so now I should have Firefox 59. Yeah, 5901. That's the name of the article. I can see it at the top there. Maybe it will. We'll see if that has anything to do with it. Do that without running the system updates and all that. That's a lot quicker. I tried it on my Fedora 23 system. It didn't do anything. I think because there's not any more even security updates coming out for 23. But I keep my Firefox and Thunderbird updated by running them, and I call it standalone mode. It's kind of like portable mode. I've showed that a bunch of times on my other videos. I won't go into it, but when that gets done, it still hasn't come back to the command prompt yet. It's still working. I'll see what happens there. And that's one thing that's pretty, makes the system work hard is to be running DNF. So that's a good test too. While I'm waiting on there, I'll go ahead and reload my preview over there on my laptop. Let's see. Yeah, it's metadata expiration check. It says last metadata expiration check. And total, okay, it's saying, do you want to do it? Yes. 88 megabytes. So I looked at least my preview. I can see that you can tell basically what I'm doing. It's just blurry and you can't read it. That's the best my little phone cameras will do. Well, that because they would do better. I always say that. I'm having to, in order to stream over my network, I can't go any higher than 720p on the phone on the video resolution. They'll do 1080p, and you can actually make it readable if you don't use zoom and if you put the camera at the right distance. And basically, the right distance from the monitor is where my head is, and so I can't do it. There's no place to set. I can't set the camera on my hip shoulder, or if I did mount it on my head with something, then every time I moved, it'd shake it. So every time I breathed. So, yeah, it's downloading everything. But, and anyway, so that I can, when I tried it again the other day just to see, well, maybe I can do it on just one of the cameras, just the one I'm aiming at the screen. And I tried it, and it starts being like a slideshow. It drops so many frames that you just could never. I already have enough trouble at 720p with my audio and video being out of sync, and even when I set audio delay in OBS Studio and stuff, I never can get it right. I might get it right for a while, and then after I stream for a while, it gets off. And different cameras will be at different amounts of out of sync, and so I think now I'm just back to no change at all, just a 0. But anyway, at least I got something I can do it with. I went for years without a camera at all. I had a video camera at all. Well, actually, most years I haven't had a video camera. I've only had a few years where I had one. And I always liked making videos. I used to volunteer on cable TV shows and run camera and run audio and stuff. And I used to run sound for bands. I did that most of anything. I did that for about 12 years, throughout the 90s, 80s, 90s, I guess you'd say. It's almost there. Let's see. Well, while it's okay, yeah, it took a little bit to switch to the other scene there. Yeah, see, now it's getting low. That's enough to slow it down. See, I clicked. Okay, click. Okay, it takes a minute to bring up the command line, and then it takes a minute to bring up, or not a minute, but it's a few seconds. Now I'll click on another. Yeah, the mouse is getting spongy. Click. I forgot to say click. Yeah. Okay, it's complete. So yeah, of course that's not something she's going to be doing, so it may be okay. Let's see. Okay, what we did was we upgraded to Firefox 59.0.1-1 FC27, and then of course this is all done in memory too. So, but I mean, we weren't downloading a large amount of stuff, so. Okay, and it also added that repo. Of course, it'll all be gone when I reboot it, but also installed NSS x86 softcon tools. I don't know what that stuff is. I haven't really. Oh, it's some other stuff too. Utility. Yeah, it's several things to go along with it. Some dependencies. So I'm going to go ahead and close that now. Now, we shouldn't be showing that until after I reboot Firefox. Let's see. Yeah, we're still on 57, so I'm going to have to close Firefox and then open it back up in a minute. See if it's still... Of course, you can't necessarily go by how quick the menus come and go. Now let's go ahead and open it up. Should be... okay now. I mean, it should be new now. It was just not anything in particular about me going ahead and doing that. I'm beginning to think that maybe it won't make that live stream play. It may not. It seems like I've ran into that before, but it seems like sometimes they play, sometimes they don't while they're streaming. It's kind of weird. We'll see. Yeah, same thing. But once it's I guess what I'm guessing is that YouTube converts it to, I don't know, a different format after it's been I'm done streaming and it's finished. But like I said, I don't have Flash. It's not Flash. It's doing it. They say in HTML5, but I mean Firefox comes with HTML5 support, so it should play it. To me, that's what I think. So I don't know what. I guess I just don't know what's going on here. But let's click on another video. It's I know this is boring junk, but this is what I need to be doing. I need to find out how well this thing will do this. So it's doing surprisingly well for a dual core. I'll try some other type of video. These are all the same thing. I'd like to try something that's an MP4. And it's not super fast, but it's doing it much better than I really thought it would. Let me see. Something that's not a live stream. Okay, those were made on the camera at 1080p, and they should have been probably were MP4s to start with. I believe so. Now that's how well that the phones can do. That's 1080p, and that's just a little short. I was showing. I built a table for my little table saw. I bought me a Ryobi table saw. And I built me a table that folds up and down so that it can fit in the garage. And I can roll it out there in the driveway and use it. And that piece that's aluminum angle iron that I actually bought to be on the front so I could have me a sliding fence. But it actually, right now, is my fence because I haven't finished building that part yet. And the wood doesn't match because I bought 2 sheets of birch plywood, and then I used some leftovers from some cabinets I built on the left side there to finish out what I didn't have enough for. But there it is from the front, and yeah, see, the little phone cameras do pretty well if you use their full potential. But I'd forgotten I had. Oh yeah, that's after it was already built and I was using it. I think I was cutting some trim for the bathroom cabinets that I redid. I built it. So I always wanted one of my own. I used to be a cabinet maker back in the 80s, and I always wanted one, a good saw table like this of my own, and a table saw. I got that Ryobi for about $130 or something like that, brand new. It was a display model, 10-inch table saw, 13 amp, I think. And I just set that up and let it run while I was working. I should have, the day that I did that, I thought, well, I should set that on my Blazer hood and point it back this way, because I knew that but then I thought, well, it'll have the sun shining straight at the lens, but the sun was already low enough behind the house that I think it would have been a lot better. Could have actually seen what I was doing to a certain extent. But that's what I did, so that's how they all are. But it's working. Let's see, where else would I want to go? Fedora docs. Yeah, here's the Fedora documentation. And then the magazine, Fedora project, get Fedora. This is the main page where you can go. Of course, I showed a whole long explanation yesterday about downloading Fedora and the different options and all that. There's some communities. Fedora forum. I never did run into that when I don't use it much because it's mostly just people talking back and forth, and sometimes you get an answer and sometimes you don't. I'd rather just search through the documentation. Now, Red Hat is the parent company of Fedora. They're a proprietary organization, but they and to use Red Hat you have to pay, and they target big companies. Now, my mouse wasn't moving too good for a minute there. They target big companies, and they do servers and everything else. But the benefit for the rest of us is that Fedora is basically their testing ground for Red Hat, and we get to use that for free, and they have everything under the sun. They have a version of everything Red Hat uses for free and open source in Fedora. OpenShift, for what that is. Okay, so yeah, if I want to show these pages, I need to be showing it on the desktop video. So I think I'm really encouraged. I need to do this long enough to know whether or not it's really going to work, kind of work the machine. But I was like, how could that be live now? I did that a long time ago. That's because I was showing it. That's what I was showing. We'll go. Okay. So I don't guess I really want to keep doing that. Let's just run through some other apps. Let's see. It's not working. This is not the theme that I like at all. Tiny little dots that you can't hit to save your life. But what I was thinking is I ought to open up more than one thing, more than one app. Because she's going to at least open. Thunderbird doesn't come with it. It has Claws mail. Of course, until they're set up, you can't really do much of anything with them anyway. But I think okay, this is her hard drive. It's still in there. I want to make sure I don't mess anything up. That's the cool thing about Fedora. If you had a problem, maybe it won't boot, but you want to save your files, just boot it up to pretty much any live Fedora system, and you can copy your files. I like to use Crusader File Manager, Twin File Manager, but you can do all that in here if you prefer to use. This is home, and let's see. I'd forgotten there was a Don user on there. There is. I think when I was building it, I made a user with my name for I don't know why I did that, really. There's nothing in there. Now, this is not the live system. This is the Fedora 14 system that I built for my mom that she's been using all these years since back then. And let's see. 524, you may not be able to see it. You can see it. This is the boot partition. The U3 system is a Windows little couple of portable apps in there for my SD USB stick, and these other ones are the install. Yeah, you can't go in that one. The install stuff. Again, that's the same thing. That's something else. What is that? I don't know what that 67 gigabyte volume. That's just probably the LVM for her stuff, and then that is the actual what you can see of the live OS that we're running from Fedora. That's still labeled Fedora 13 686. I built her a Fedora 13, and in the meantime, Fedora 14 came out, and Fedora 13 was buggy and not working so well in some things, so I went ahead and just upgraded it evidently, or else it couldn't have that name. I'd forgotten that. But it wouldn't have that Fedora 13 name. It'd have Fedora 14 if I'd have built it straight from, scratch. Which is what I'm going to do now. I'm actually bought her a new hard drive, and after a while I'm going to put it in the machine, and I want to make sure it's not DOA. I haven't touched it. I just took it out. I took it out of the box and looked at it, and then put it back in the box. I haven't done anything with it, so I want to make sure that it's not DOA. Because I got till end of the month or so. I think I forgot when it is. I have to look again. I think I have till like the 1st of April that I could send it back to Amazon without having to go through the warranty process with the manufacturer if I don't keep fooling around. So, yeah, it's doing okay. It's been just sitting there on my home YouTube page. That'll use up a lot of resources just sitting there like that. So, now all those they weren't mounted until I clicked on them. Now everything that can be mounted is mounted. That Anaconda stuff is the installer stuff from the live system, but it's good, but now if you got something that's a really messed up hard drive, Fedora won't boot on it. It'll just keep on getting those read errors, IO errors, in out errors, and it won't boot a lot of times. So then you might have to try to bang. Especially if all you're wanting to do is just reformat the drive or something, use some other distro that doesn't try to automatically boot. But if you do have Fedora or the other any other distro, whatever you got, Fedora will try to boot it, and if it can, and you need the files, you'll get them right quick and easy. So that's this depends on what you're trying to do. Let's see. There's not much with it, and so that's the big thing about setting up a new system, is getting it all set up with the apps and all the settings and everything needed to run it. I've got to do everything for my mom. I've pretty kind of basically done that on the laptop. I set her up a laptop to be using while I'm doing this, and I thought I could do it in a day, maybe 2 max. It took me a week. Well, the problem was I was doing it on a desktop, that AS Rock. They've made a lot of videos on that thing. I finally figured out. I was worried about the power supply all along because I knew I had looked at it when I first got it. I got it because it had bad cap syndrome on the motherboard. There were 4 blown caps on it, and some of them were swelled that weren't blown. I just opened up the Office Writer to see how fast it would open up. And anyway, the power supply had some swollen caps. And this was several years ago, but it was working. And so FileZilla is a pretty good app, but the one thing I don't like about it is it's really tricky you got to really pay attention to the settings to get what you want. You can do like basically straight FTP transfers, and you'll get the same whatever date. It'll change all your file dates to the day you do it, unless you do the settings right. And don't log in on port 21 FTP. Log in on port 22 SFTP port right there. Wherever it is you're going, if you're going on a remote, that's what it's for. Is for logging into remote machines. It's not for local stuff. I don't think you can really do that with it. But anyway, I like Crusader because it's a lot easier to get what you want out of it. What I want out of it, I should say. Transmission is that I like. That's my favorite. I agree. That's my favorite BitTorrent app, and Fedora, I'll get out of it. Fedora and Debian, most all the Linux distros you can download on BitTorrent, and nowadays it's faster a lot of times, sometimes than just a straight plain download, and it helps cut down on the overload on their servers if you use that. So, and one thing I like about Fedora, it comes with gparted partition manager editor. Be careful with it. Like I've got this good, I don't want to lose anything on her old hard drive. I want to keep it until I'm completely finished. I do have a backup of it, but I'm going to keep it as is until I'm completely finished. And yes, if I had that new hard drive in here, I could take a look at it right here. SDA is what I'm on right now. SDB is her system, and that has the 500 megabyte boot partition, the LVM with all her stuff, and then the extended is, it's kind of weird how it does. Oh, this is the never mind. That's, yeah, okay, that's that. And then this is Mint Linux. I divided it in half, and I went ahead and put Mint Linux on there so she'd have a backup operating system in case hers was broke that she could use. I thought maybe she'd be able to learn how to, all you have to do is just hit some keys at boot, you know. She never tried it. She never had any trouble. She didn't need to. But and then the swap partition. But get out of there. Make sure I can't mess it up. But anyway, that's pretty cool. I think I will shut this down now. And I think I'll put, I don't have a live, working live Debian 9. My USB sticks are only 2 gigabytes, and it's the ISO is 1.9 gigabytes, and that's exactly the reported. Well, it depends on what you use to report it with. Some apps will say 1.8 and some will say 1.9, and I didn't even try putting it on there because I didn't want to waste time. I was making the video the other day, and so I just put the net installer on there. That gives you more options anyway. You can do pretty much any kind of Debian setup you want with if you use a web installer, net installer. They call it net install. But so all I can do here is boot up to the installer and look at it. But I think I'll do that. I was going to say, do I want to do that or just want to go ahead and put that hard drive in there? But actually, I've already done that a couple of times, like in VirtualBox and everything. There's nothing to show. I mean, I know it'll boot. Well, I mean, I don't 100% know this would boot to it, but I don't think I want to put it on here anyway. I might go ahead and keep this stick like it is and put it on some of my other machines, these laptops. Actually, the ones that I have, both of these laptops, the Dell 6000 that I'm using to preview my stuff with now, and the Dell 1525 that Mom is using, both have Dell have Debian 8 on them, and it's already behind. You know, I think it's still getting some updates, but not very many. And so I'd rather, go to Debian 9. I think it would run. I think they would run it okay, because Debian's pretty lightweight. So let me see. Yeah, and I tried booting to Debian 9 on my easy to boot deal, and it didn't work, and neither did Fedora. And I did it all in the video. I copied all the ISOs on there, and I was showing how it's really easy to do. And then, I don't know, I kind of messed around with it, and I thought all I needed to do is run make files contiguous. I did that, and it didn't fix it. Let's see. If I'm going to keep jabbering, I might as well do something here. Let me put it in there. For some reason I can do the front USB plug without seeing it. I can do it by feel, but the back one I can't. They are both kind of hard to reach where I'm sitting. I guess I tried to put that machine where I could reach it pretty easily from my chair, but I guess I didn't get it quite close enough is one of the problems. That's Fedora, you goofball. So let's see. Oh yeah, well there's the test media. Of course we don't need to do that. We know it runs. Troubleshooting. You could start it in basic graphics mode. Yeah, if it doesn't work with your graphics card, if it seems like it's booting, but it might go to a command prompt and tell you it can't handle your graphics card. You can try basic graphics mode, and then there's run a memory test. It has memtest x86 on there, I believe. Boot from local drive. You could boot from your local drive, and return to the main menu. I'm going to hit boot from local drive so that, I could just do a hard shutdown, but I think I'll just do that. And I'll show you what I was talking about a minute ago about the mate, the dual boot setup. What I'm planning on doing is making like a CloneZilla image. That's one of my favorite backup apps of her Fedora 14 and putting it on, it says boot disk failure. That's weird. It must not see the drive right because that's in there. So I did a hard shutdown. Now I will boot it up and make sure there's nothing wrong with it. I don't think there is. I think it just didn't see it right. Wait a minute. Oh yeah, that's Fedora 27. Okay. Alright, a minute. Okay, now if you hit the keyboard, you can pick you can pick all the way back to 4 previous kernels if you have a problem and want to fix it, or you can go Linux Mint, and they're both old now, Linux Mint 9 is what's on there. But it's not just another operating system, it's also my backup drive. But the thing is, the reason I got a new hard drive is because the drives are, it's divided basically in half, and it's a 250 gigabyte, and it's just got about, Fedora 14 has 14 gigabyte left, I think, and I think that's after I cleaned it up a bunch. So, and if you don't hit any key, you'll get your graphics, or if you hit a key, then you'll see the terminal output while you're booting up in any Linux distro. It always does a file system check if needed, make sure everything's okay, and fixes it if it needs it. I think back in Fedora 14, you had to do some settings to tell it to do that every time. Now the newer ones, I think they just always automatically do it, which is good. It can save you a lot of sometimes something goes wrong, and you wouldn't even boot if it wasn't for that, So I'm not going to go into it. So I'll just say shut down. You can shut down from the boot login menu there if you want. If you decided that, I didn't really want to do that, So I'll just go ahead and boot to the main. I'll go ahead and put it in there, and this time I'll have the right one. I'm paying attention this time. I was going by the colors. One's written in red and one's written in black, and thought I had the right one. I thought I had a problem, but I didn't. It didn't feel, I was doing all by feel. I can't see what I was doing there. And it didn't feel like it was going in all the way. So I thought, well, something's wrong. I thought, okay, maybe I need to flip it over. Maybe it's upside down. I did that, and that didn't help. Didn't see the USB. Well, maybe there is something going on there. Shut it down again. Okay, I'll give up. I'll move the chair. Okay, let's see. It could have been just kind of an odd thing that it didn't. Well, it's still doing it. It's not recognizing the USB. Maybe because I did that hard shutdown a minute ago or something. I might have to go into BIOS. But let me see. I'll try it again. I'll put it in the back this time. All right, we're trying it again. This time I got it plugged into one of the back USB ports. Okay, then I'll go into BIOS. It must have lost its settings for booting to the USB. Okay, hit delete over and over and over until I get it. Okay. Now before, drive A was set to floppy, and once I turned that off, it was staying, the way I wanted it. Yeah, it doesn't have the USB at the top anymore. But that'll make it work right there. I always just go ahead and, well, that doesn't actually matter, I don't think, but generally I always, oh, yeah, USB. Put USB at the top in both places, and then you won't have any problem. Make sure you don't have any, and save and exit. Make sure you don't have any mishaps again. That's this BIOS. They're all a little bit different. It should be okay now. Yep, there we go. Now, what do we got here? Default on it, and if you don't do anything, it'll boot within 10 seconds or something. I saw it was on 6. There's help, graphical install, graphical expert install, graphical automated, expert install, automated install, expert speech install. That's one that I don't remember seeing before. Automated speech install with speech synthesis. That's pretty cool, really, that they got that on there. This is Debian. Well, I'm guessing this is from Debian. I used UNet booting to write this on here. It says UNet booting at the top. That could be from, I think that's from Debian. I don't think that's from UNet booting. All those extra menus there. I think it's something new in Debian. Or new to me anyway. It might be in Debian 8 and I just didn't notice it. So I went using the keyboard up and down, and then I went back up there to default and hit enter. And it's working. The cursor's blinking. In a minute, it'll start bringing up some terminal output. And it should, as long as things are going well. And in the virtual machine, it comes up really fast. I'm kind of surprised it's taking that long. It could be that Debian does not like this machine. Maybe I need to go to, like an alternative video. Let's see, what do we got? I think just a bunch of stuff there. Yeah, there it is. Okay, so I'm not even going to hit. What you would do is just keep continuing on. You can just hit the enter on the keyboard, or you can click. When you continue on, and after a few clicks, you'll be asked, like the domain name and all that stuff. And this is the net install. So you have with a normal install, like a live, especially if you use a live image, and install with that, you'll just be able to install whatever you got, like Mate, Desktop, XFCE, or whatever. But you got to get on past all the stuff that I don't want to do with this her old hard drive in there. I don't want to risk clicking the wrong thing and formatting that hard drive, because that's one of the steps. As a matter of fact, you probably I can't even remember. I think you might have to do that before you can start picking your software in your desktop. But unless they've changed it all up, you can do more than one desktop. I would probably go ahead and do Mate and XFCE and at the same time, and then I would do whatever software I want to choose from in there. Maybe add a few other things that I see in the list there that I know she'll want. But I don't think I'm going to use Debian. There's a couple of reasons. Well, the number one reason is I just like Fedora better because it's what I've used 95% of the time since 05 when I got into Linux, and I like it. And the other thing is it has SE Linux, Security Linux built into it, and she doesn't know anything about staying safe on the internet. She'll click on anything, not knowing better. And Debian doesn't have that. Basically, I guess Debian and the others, they just kind of rely on user permissions and stuff, but I just don't think that's enough. I know it's not enough. So, with Security Linux, you've got both. You've got user permissions, and then you've got file permissions, and you've got SE Linux, and I mean, it stops anything it thinks is odd. And it used to, years ago, it was kind of a pain because it wouldn't let you do things you're really trying to do. Now, in these last several years, I haven't had it stop anything that I wanted it to do. Sometimes it'll stop things that you don't know what is really going on, but as long as it stopped it, even if it was something bad, it didn't get to happen, I mean, if your system, like I've had enough Windows systems get infected with stuff, if your system's got something on it, you're going to get some weird things going on, like you'll see your email, your Thunderbird sending out a whole bunch of emails that you didn't send, if you're infected, or you'll be receiving all kinds. One time I got infected. I've had it happen to other people, and I would get a whole bunch of emails from people that were spam, from people I know, and what their system got infected. And one time, I think it even happened to me, and I was always pretty vigilant about trying to keep good security software on my system, my Windows systems, and everything. But you still get, I don't care how hard you try and how much you've learned, and you're still going to get hit here and there. So that's one of the biggest things with me. I like Debian. It's lightweight, and it would make this machine would just run like a powerhouse, on Debian. But I am a little bit worried about letting Mom use it with her not knowing anything about what not to click on the internet and stuff. So, and I mean, you don't, and that's not enough. Of course, even if you know all kinds of things about it, that stuff, the malware aficionados, they hide it in so many places that I don't care how much you still don't know what might be behind that link, So, if you go back, I figured this out the other day. If you hit the back button, then it'll give you a bunch of choices. You can start back where you left off, or do this, do that. You can configure speech. Let's see. Blind person, Braille display. How can you have Braille on a computer screen? Oh, using a Braille display. Oh, you got to have some hardware plugged into the machine. Okay. Speech synthesis, keyboard, detect and mount CD-ROM, load installer components from CD, change deb config priority, check the CD-ROM's integrity, save debug logs, execute a shell, start a shell. Abort installation, which is what I want, and then I'll click on it and then hit continue. Or if you hit double click, it'll do the same thing. You have not finished the install. Are you sure you want to exit now? Yes. I'm going to hit continue. Okay, there we go. I think it'll just shut it down, or it may go to a command prompt. It's still running, though, that much. I can hear it. That fan has got to where it's just making noise. That's probably something I'm going to have to figure out for sure which one it is and replace it, or take it apart and clean it up at least. Oh, it went back to the boot screen, so no, it won't shut down. You're going to have to hard shut it down. Oh, that wouldn't probably have, well, she doesn't hear so well anymore, so she hadn't noticed it because I asked her. I was like, have you been hearing that? But it's also down under her desk in the floor, so she wouldn't be near as likely to hear it. I got it up on a table, and boy, I can hear it. I'm so used to it. One good thing I like about this Lenovo i5, let me switch my... Okay, now I'll switch. I don't need to show desktop stuff right now anyway. The Lenovo i5 that I'm using, that I've been using the last year or two or whatever, it's very, very quiet. It doesn't actually, does it even have a fan at all? I think it does have one fan. It's it's a so when it's really quiet, it doesn't make a lot of heat, and I've really gotten used to that. The other machines I used were too darn loud, and that sometimes, especially at 1.8 gigahertz over there, it's that I was using before I got the Lenovo. There's another one I put together from machine parts that that had gotten damaged in lightning. I think is what happened with that one. But anyway, it had the whiniest CPU fan you've ever heard, and I never did try to replace it or anything. I just kept dealing with it. It only made noise when it was working hard. When it would get hot, and it would blow real hard. And so I just kind of kept trying to not work it too hard, or just get used to it whenever it was, I needed to work it hard. But now when I turn it on, I can't stand it. I just can't stand to hear that thing running. My ears, I've got my ears. I mix the sound for bands. I mix sound for metal bands and punk bands, all Christian rock bands. I mean, they're all of the Christian genre, but they're still loud. And I always liked metal and hard rock. That was my favorite style back then. And now I can't hardly stand to listen to it because I blew my ears out, and they ring all the time. So now I can't even enjoy music hardly, even when it's down really low. But so I can't stand noises, machine noises, stuff like that. It used to bother me. I liked working sounds, I worked in cabinet shops and aircraft factory and stuff, and I liked the sound of work, But now I can't hardly stand it, noises. So what I'm going to do, I think it's going to just work out just right. I want to change the camera. I don't want it aimed at the screen anymore. I want my second camera over there to be aimed at the computer, and I'll go ahead and I'll just do that on the video. I'll put that hard drive in there, and then I'll boot it up to Party Magic. That does work on my easy to boot deal. The newer ones I put on there last night won't boot, but all the older stuff does boot. And I don't know, maybe I need to go back and get the brand new version of easy to boot. Maybe it works with the newer ISOs. Maybe they've changed something. Because I did everything I know to do, and it still doesn't work. Or at least I'm going to have to go back on the website and read some more of the instructions, and that's going to be a big deal. There's a world of instructions on there, and the ifs, ands, or buts on that thing. When you get it working, it's a wonderful tool to boot, well, I've got a 32 gigabyte, and I can get 10, well, depending on how big they are, 10 to 20 ISOs on there, and have all that ready to use at any time. But, so I'm going to do that, take my break, and there's something on that computer. I don't know what it is on that laptop. Some kind of crusty looking stuff. I didn't see it till just now. Okay, something that's dried. It didn't just now happen. Yeah, I'll get all set. I'll just reset up and then start a new video, and that'll work out pretty good. So I started my preview and then I let it play. I keep forgetting. Keep let it play and forget about it sometimes, and that makes the machine, it can't handle it for very long. Okay, so here we go. That's Fedora 27, and just a brief look at the beginnings there of the Bane 9 net installer. So I'll come back and I'm going to get I'm going to take that old hard drive out so that it can't get damaged. The file system can't get damaged, but the new one in there, and it's probably just be able to just stay in there. And I'm going to look it over, make sure it's okay. I might. I mean, I guess I really don't see any reason to not go ahead and install Fedora 27 Mate on there. And I just don't want to get into the big middle of setting it all up for her and then say, "Oh, this don't run good enough," and I've wasted another, several days to a week of time. That's what I don't want to do. That's why I'm trying. Spend so much time there fiddling around with it, trying to see will the machine handle it okay. You won't completely know for sure until you install it, because I swear, just those old USB sticks are just USB 2.0 sticks. I swear a live operating system will run faster off of them than it will when you have it installed on the hard drive. Same system. We'll see. I may go ahead and install it. Well, we'll see. First, I'll just get the hard drive in there and make sure it's okay and everything. Should be. It's brand new. Better be. Okay, this is Don. I'll be back in a little while.